Think you can't race? Think again. SimAbility is breaking barriers and making sim racing accessible for drivers with disabilities. We're a welcoming iRacing league open to racers with disabilities, along with their friends and supporters of all abilities. Our members represent a wide range of skill levels and experience, from first-timers to seasoned competitors. This is a place to connect, compete, and most importantly, have fun. Racing isn't just about speed, it's about the freedom to compete. At SimAbility, we believe every driver deserves a spot on the grid. Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern for exciting battles, competitive racing, and great friendships. Join the SimAbility Racing League today.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome out to Slinger Speedway. And what you are looking at right here is the sheer amount of banking on this track. This is a quarter-mile track, very high banked. Expect high speeds, a lot of wheel-to-wheel action, and maybe a little bit of door banging. We've got a tight field of 9 cars currently timed in, getting ready to go here for 125 laps.
Alright, welcome back to another ride along Jason in our SimAbility Legends Car series. Tonight we're at Slinger Speedway. This is one of the most unique short tracks I've ever went to. It'll be the first time I've seen it. It reminds me a lot of a mixture of Bristol or Dover, some Concord, and even some North Wilkesboro because of the elevation changes. Right out of turn 4, going in turn 1, lift shortly after start finish line and brake. And power off hard once you're out of that turn. Into turn 3, lift and brake here. And power off hard, don't get into an outside wall, which is so easy to do off 4. This is one of the most bumpiest tracks I ever raced on. I imagine it eats tires as well. I wonder if the real people race here experience that roller coaster feeling in the stomach because of the elevation changes here. This is a very unique racetrack. Right, so I'm Jason Lance. Thank you for joining me for another ride along with Jason, and I hope you enjoy the race.
This is the SimAbility No Limits Just Legends series here at the Slinger Speedway. And as I covered earlier, this banking is heavy and it is steep. You're going to see these cars look like they're driving up a cliff in some cases as we get ready to look over the point standings and get your starting lineup. Your current points leader continues to be Dalton Williamson, the number 1 car. He has a 22-point lead currently over the Icy Man, Jason Lance. Stephen Kiefer sitting third. Andrew Smith tied with him for that position. Then it is down to Tom Johnson, Billy Wise, Johnny Berardi, Fish Fisher, Nate Anderson, and Tim Obert are your top 10. So the cars are just getting through qualifying here. A few of them still working their way around the track. We'll be back with your starting lineup. And we're back. This is the starting lineup for tonight's No Limits Just Legends race presented by SimAbility. Now he's not there right now, but he will be starting shotgun on the field. That is the number 1, your points leader, Dalton Williamson. And next up is going to be Brian Lawhead, and this is a driver we have not seen in a couple seasons. Very nice to have Brian back with us in that bright red and yellow number 66. Next to him, look ma, no legs, it's Johnny Berardi in the 99X. Up a row from him is the number 23, that is TJ Tom Johnson in the Fireball Machine. Does look like we're missing 1 car in the lineup, but we'll keep going. Andrew Smith is next up on the inside in the number 87 Admin Box Trans Am Machine. I don't think that's a Firebird, but it says it is. To the outside of that is the Rust Pile. That's Stephen Kiefer in the number 22. Up from there, your 3rd place finisher last week, coming off of a great run. This is his home track. That's Nate Anderson in the number 5. And up again, we've got Billy Wise in the Heineken Machine getting ready to go to Alcohol Wars with TJ and the Fireball Machine. And next to him, a familiar face, not the pace car, it's the Icy Man, Jason Lance, sitting on the outside pole. So that is your lineup for this event, and this place is gonna prove to be tough. You can see a lot of different camera angles that we've set up today. We'll see how many of them get used, hopefully a couple of them. The cars get lined up. Let's go up top. Oh, not that camera. Not that camera. That camera. Alright, just in time for the start. We zoom back here. Here's the field. And they were pretty spread out when we got that green. And oh dear, that is probably going to come back. We've got 2 or 3 cars around. I see Stephen Kiefer. I see Nate Anderson, and it looked like just a couple cars not quite able to get where they wanted to be for that start. So we're going to call it back and give that another try. We'll be back after a brief word from our sponsors. So back here at Slinger, taking a look at that start once again, it looked like Anderson and Kiefer already were making contact, and then Andrew Smith gets caught up in it as well. Tough break for all 3 drivers. We do have 1 fast repair, but using it this early at a short track is a bit of a gamble. Alrighty, getting ready to try that start once more.
Green, green, green.
And we are early green, kind of in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Billy Wise not going to lead it to the stripe. That's going to be the Icy Man on the outside with some big momentum. And he's trying to put a period on that by leading lap number 2 here. Well, lap number 7, let's say. Forgot the caution laps. That outside groove did prove difficult in these small cars, but Lance is making it look easy out there. Just kind of using that momentum and able to get quite a launch off the corners. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough for him to get in front of Billy Wise, as Wise is holding strong down there, and Smith is trying to follow him up through on the bottom. Once again, Lance mounts a charge on the top, and Wise comes out in front, not by much, but just by enough. Lance might clear him this time though off fork. It's a huge run. Wise says no. And Lance does clear him here off of 2. Wise back down to the bottom. Lance gives him room, finds the wall off of turn 4. That could have been a lot worse than it ended up being. Dalton Williamson now kind of trapped behind both Smith and Wise, trying to figure out where to go here. And now Wise using that momentum on the outside to get runs on Smith, but Smith's going to clear him out of turn number 2. And we're seeing if Williamson can get underneath Wise. Wise ricochets off the wall almost into Williamson. He is going to take that spot away. Now Williamson in the hunt looking for second, as he follows Smith into turn 1 here. We've got about 110 laps to go when they get to the stripe, as Williamson makes a move for second. So quite a long time for these guys to settle in and get a rhythm, now that we've got a few green flag laps under our belt. So Williamson goes on the hunt after the 76. That's the Icy Man Jason Lance, who's led a majority of the laps thus far and has really started to get away from the field. Of note, up ahead of them, there's Nate Anderson in the 5. He was involved in that early accident. He did not take a repair. You can see how scuffed up the back of that car is, and it may not be handling as well as it was earlier. He's currently trying to run down the 99X of Johnny Berardi, who has been struggling this week in practice, and it appears to be in the race too. So let's scoot back up towards the front here. This is 3rd and 4th getting close. You can see 1st and 2nd getting close. Smith currently holds that final podium position. And Wise has got him within 2 car lengths. Meanwhile, it's about the same for those two up ahead, so we're going to try and keep an eye on both of those situations here. Lance currently showing the way still here on lap 21. And these two are starting to get just a bit closer. Seems like Wise is getting better exits out of the corners now. He enters a little bit higher than Smith, swings down to the bottom, comes up a little wide on exit. And that wall does rush up here, especially in 4. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so as we regather our camera here, as I was saying, that wall will rush up out of turn 4, and that is because there is less banking on the front stretch than there is the back stretch. We learned that from Nate Anderson this week, the home track boy. As coming out of turn number 4, here goes the number 1 down to the bottom. A tail as old as time. A yellow comes out right as the lead is about to change hands. That's Lougheed in the 66 around. Looks like he didn't hit anything, but we go yellow.
Hey Jacob, where would be a really cool place to see one of our SimAbility products?
How about the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte, North Carolina?
So big thanks to the NASCAR Hall of Fame and going above and beyond in setting up this ADA compliant simulator, and thanks for choosing SimAbility.
Getting close to going green again here. Williamson is going to line up with the pole. He was scored as the leader at the stripe, so they did give him the position. That puts the Icy Man on the back foot. He's up there on the outside, and he fought valiantly up there earlier, but it can be very tough to pass. You see Smith and Wise lined up behind them. Great start for that number 1. Williamson looks like he was just shot out of a cannon coming out of turn number 4. We got them side by side further back. Another tale as old as time. These two cars, 22 and 23, that is Kiefer and Johnson. And they've got the home track hero right behind him. That is number 5. Ooh, he just squeezes in there. A little bit of contact. As I was saying, that's the number 5 of Nate Anderson. And now Berardi's starting to get involved in this battle. Got ourselves a regular dogfight going into turn number 1. Anderson pulls the outside. He's going to get by Johnson. And now he sets his sights on Kiefer. Laps are going away quick in this one. Keep an eye on Anderson here. He's coming off a great run last week at Myrtle Beach, and he's going to make the move to the inside of Kiefer. Anderson up another spot. Kiefer trying to hold on to it. Both of these cars damaged in that opening lap wreck. Both of them look to be handling okay, but looks like Anderson caught the apron down there. Really got sideways. And they remain side by each, coming through 3 and 4 as Lawhead goes around again. He's able to gather it up. And Anderson takes that spot away, so keep an eye on that number 5. He might have something for these top 4 guys here as this race goes on. Meanwhile, up ahead, the 87 of Smith and the 32 of Wise going at it again for 3rd. And these guys have had one hell of a battle all season long. Absolutely just trading spots back and forth. You usually find them side by side, and it looks like they're going to continue to do that today. Up ahead of them, leaders starting to close in on each other. Lance very methodically starting to cut into that interval between himself and Dalton Williamson. As they are coming up on lap traffic. Let's see who we got here. That's 99X, Johnny Berardi. He was up in that battle a little bit earlier. And he's been struggling with the setup all week, and you can see that thing is just not quite handling the way that a lot of the other cars are. He currently is sitting in the 8th position, with Brian Lawhead behind him, I do believe. Here come the leaders up on him now. And they are going to take the inside. Berardi gives him plenty of room up on the top. And through they go. Now the next two cars they're catching are already engaged in a battle of their own. That is going to be our old friends Stephen Kiefer and TJ. That is Tom Johnson in the 23. These two also all season long battling it out, swapping positions and points. And they're going to have to deal with leaders going by them while trying to race each other, so this could get very interesting as the field starts to break up into little two-car breakaways with only two lone wolves on the track, those being Anderson and Berardi. The short track racing is good stuff. These guys are all right on top of each other. Nobody's really getting away too far, and there's a lot of action going on all around the track. And they are getting much closer to these two that are battling for the 6th position. TJ falling back just a little bit off of Kiefer here. But one of the things you got to do when you're a lap car and you're racing somebody else is figure out how to give up less time than the other guy when you're letting the leader by. And there are some maneuvers you can pull off, so let's see what Johnson does here and how he operates around this. He's going to stay low on that preferred line, and he lets both leaders go by on the outside. There they go. Now he can get back in line. Let's see what Kiefer does. If Kiefer were to go to the outside, he may actually lose more time there than Johnson did, and in so doing, Johnson may be able to pass him, as he does indeed give up the inside. And here they both go by, and Johnson will get a big run off of 4 and make up a little bit of that interval. Looks like they're going to fall back about where they were, but that is still a decent example of the types of different strategies you can employ when going a lap down. We're currently approaching halfway. Williamson still leads. Lance second. Andrew Smith sits third, then Billy Wise. Back from there is Nate Anderson. And if you look at the track map down there in the lower left, Anderson currently sits fifth, so he's that little number 5 crossing the start-finish line there. And he is starting to catch 3rd and 4th position as we watch these two leaders. Give you an idea of the size of this place, or rather the lack thereof. Here is the blimp cam. The whole camera almost fits in one shot. Or the whole track almost fits in one shot, I should say. Watching from the Dizzy cam here. This place is pretty bumpy, but you don't really notice it with all that banking. We have a new camera we're trying out this week, the Direct From Above camera, as they go by the 99X of Johnny Berardi down into 3. You can get a very, very clear angle of who is around each of these cars. And we can ride along down here on the bumper. Here's another fun one. The gyro cam, and we saw a bit of this during the intro tonight, but it gives you an idea of just how deep the banking is here. Some of the drivers during practice were calling it a half pipe. They said it's like dropping down into a half pipe, and I can certainly see why looking at this camera angle. So Lance and Williamson holding steady out front. There's a look back from Lance's car. And once again, out the front. And now we go back to our normal camera angles. Looks like Williamson's starting to get out on him just a little bit, but who's getting closer would be the battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Smith, who's coming up to put a lap on the battle up ahead of him, which is between the 23 and the 22, is currently on the defense trying to keep the 32 behind him. And that is Billy Wise going to the bottom in 3. He's got it out of 3. They're coming up on Berardi. Berardi tries to give him as much room as he can, and here comes Anderson. And that's been my driver to watch tonight. He's been very, very slowly picking these guys off, getting a little faster each time by. So that is, let's see, there's TJ, who is currently in 7th. Up ahead of him is the 6th place machine, That's Stephen Kiefer. Then behind him, this is Billy Wise here. He is in the 3rd position. And then 4th and 5th behind him, Andrew Smith and Nate Anderson. Now they've got to figure out what they're going to do, because Johnson holds that bottom line. And what lap cars are always told is just be predictable. If you're going to run the bottom, stay there. And he has done that, as we see the 32 and the 87 bank off the wall. All 3 of these lead lap cars managed to make their way around. Next car they'll be lapping is Stephen Kiefer, although he does seem to be roughly holding pace with them. And we're yellow once again. Not sure for what. It looks like Berardi is pulled off the track. I didn't see him spin. But we'll step away for a few moments for a word from our sponsors, and we'll get back to racing. Getting ready for the restart here. A couple cars still catching up to the field, but we are going to go green out of turn number 4, and there have been pit stops. A lot has changed. Your leader is still currently Dalton Williamson. The 32, Billy Wise, is now 2nd, and Nate Anderson up to 3rd after pit stops from several different drivers. So we got ourselves a battle going on further back here. And it looks like that shook itself out pretty quick. That was between the 87 and the 99X. So we go back up to this battle for 2nd. Wise currently has it. Nate Anderson really wants it. And he got a lot of his work done for him by those pit stops. That did allow him to pass quite a few cars. But he is really struggling to find a way around Billy Wise. Wise has been pretty quick all night, and with those tires heat cycling, he is back in full form here, going into our first corner. And these two are currently the closest battle for position on the track. You can check in the lower left to see where some of your favorites might be. Battle for 5th is going to probably heat up here pretty soon, but for now we are watching 2nd and 3rd. Now, this track is not very friendly as far as pit stops go, and we've seen it bite a few drivers. This time, that driver that probably got the worst of it was the Icy Man, Jason Lance. He is currently scored 1 lap down, and it is a long way back around for him to get that out. He is definitely going to need a caution, or rather get that back, I should say. Meanwhile, back here for 5th and 6th, you're looking at it. That's Andrew Smith in the 6th position, and TJ is in 5th. Smith a little bit quicker that last time by, and he's really starting to climb up on the back bumper, that number 23. Just up ahead of them is Kiefer in the 22. Smith starts thinking about a way around. He goes deep down to the bottom. It sticks. He's got the spot going into 1. As Jason Lance comes up behind them, he currently is 1 lap down. But he has got to go. He's got to avoid getting lapped a second time. That could spell absolute disaster for him. He comes up on Johnson. A little bit of contact there. And Lance sneaks on by. And right there is your leader. That's Williamson. And he would love nothing more than to put that 76 car down a lap and make sure that he couldn't come back and take the victory from him. But he definitely has a bit of a ways to go, and he's also going to have to get around Johnson as well to get there. Johnson currently the last car on the lead lap, and if he does get lapped, that is going to be very bad news once again for Jason Lance. He will no longer be in the lucky dog position. So far, 2 cars out of the race, Lawhead and Berardi, as we watch Lance move up another spot. Right now, he has got to be one of Tom Johnson's biggest fans. He really wants that 23 car to stay on the lead lap. So we look back, there's 4th place once again, Andrew Smith. 5th place, Kiefer. 6th place back there, that is Johnson, last car on the lead lap. There is your leader. That is Williamson. 2nd place is Billy Wise. And then back just a little ways from him is Nate Anderson. He's kind of been trying to find a way around Wise. He's actually lost quite a bit of time on him here. Looks like that interval set to climb, although he was faster last time by. So things are developing here as your leader gets ready to put a lap on Johnson. Johnson running the bottom as he has all night. Williamson goes to the top. And that is going to put Johnson in the lucky dog position if he gets around him here. Completing the pass is Williamson. So now your lucky dog position driver is the number 23. Jason Lance really having to get up there to catch him, and he is about half a lap behind Johnson at the moment. And there's worse news on the horizon for him as Kiefer is also set to go a lap down. That would put him in the lucky dog position. And he gives way to Williamson, so now the lucky dog is the number 22. And the mountain that Jason Lance has to climb keeps getting bigger. The next car looking to go a lap down is going to be Smith, your 4th place runner. And he probably already is starting to see that number 1 in his mirror, as up ahead of him, Jason Lance absolutely setting sail on empty track right now. Now we're coming down really close to the end of this thing. We are within 25 laps to go. And Lance does not have a lot of time to get this thing done, as the battle for 2nd starts heating up again. Billy Wise holding it down here as they come up to put a lap on the number 23. That is TJ. They come out of turn number 2 down the back chute, and they're quite close to him. He's going to hold the bottom again, probably. He does. Anderson to the high side. Wise to the high side. And he gets a monster run going into 3. And tags the wall on exit for his trouble. Now it's Anderson's turn. He gets way wide out of 2. Avoids the fence. Sends it into 3. Gets very wide through 3 and 4. Takes the spot away. Billy Wise had a 13.230 last time, a 13.589 out of Anderson last time by, so Wise was quicker that time as he gets ready to put a lap on the 5th place car of Stephen Kiefer. Meanwhile, the 4th place car, Andrew Smith, is now the lucky dog as he has gone a lap down. And another interesting development is that Jason Lance here is getting pretty close to catching the back of the field, and those cars he's going to have to pass to get the lucky dog spot. So there's Williamson crossing the stripe, and next car back from him is Smith in 4th. Then we have 2nd place. That is still Billy Wise holding it down. And Anderson gets a great run into 3. Looks like he doesn't quite get as much momentum on exit as Wise, but now he's really starting to close that gap again. As he goes deep into 3. Wise playing defense, trying to keep that car on the bottom. Anderson letting it all hang out as he goes in there. Full throttle. And there are now 15 laps left to go in this thing. 14, I should say. Watching Anderson get in there deep once again. Behind them, the battle for 5th is starting to heat up again, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. About the only car by his lonesome right now is your leader, Dalton Williamson. He is coming out of turn number 2 as we watch these guys go into turn number 1. And it looks like they've plateaued again. That interval's starting to get very even between these two cars as they come up behind Smith. I'm not sure they're even going to catch him before the end of this thing. As we have an update on the Jason Lance situation. Where is he? There he is. He's currently going for 6th position, trying to get by that number 23 of Johnson. This is for position. Johnson's going to hold the bottom. Lance says, no worries, I've got the top. He's going to take that spot away here on lap 115, and now he sets his sights on Stephen Kiefer. And this is him trying to salvage whatever he can out of the points battle. That battle for second has meanwhile lapped around the 4th place car. And we're going to go up and take a look at that here. There they are. So 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in a row, but 4th place is a lap down. Currently, this number 5 car, that is Nate Anderson, he is the last car on the lead lap. And we are right down to the end of this thing. Going to be 5 laps to go next time Dalton crosses the stripe. There he goes. And barring any sort of craziness, these will be your top 3 finishers, but in what order, we don't know. Smith really, really working hard to keep that car in front of a hard-charging Nate Anderson. As the laps continue to count down, the sand is running out in the hourglass, and Anderson is running out of ways to get by that number 32. He gets deep into 3, they touch, and around goes Anderson. And this is that kind of craziness I was talking about. We're going to have a green-white checker. We'll take a quick break, come back, and show it to you.
Bring your driver to life with custom-designed racing hero cards. Perfect for fans, sponsors, autograph sessions, and race day promotions. High-quality design, personalized layouts, and attention to every detail that makes your brand stand out. Turn your racing story into something fans can take home.
And we're back for that green-white checker. Everybody getting bunched up at the front. All these cars here on the lead lap after some pit stops were green. Number 1, Dalton Williamson gets away with the lead. Billy Wise second. And now the number 5, Anderson, under attack from the 76 of Lance and the 23 of Tom Johnson. The 5, still alive, comes out of that corner pretty high up there and is going to allow a little bit of room for Lance to get underneath him. Last chance for Lance as Dalton Williamson's going to take the win. Billy Wise comes home second, and third goes to Nate Anderson. 4th, Jason Lance. And back from there, oh my goodness. Oh, we're going to need a replay on that. Tom Johnson had quite a wild ride there. Keep in mind this was after the race was over. Tom Johnson showing exactly what he thinks of this track and car combo. Into the wall, upside down, into the tires, into the sign. There goes Jason Lance into the tires. And he's rolling down the banking. Look out, Stephen Kiefer. Wow. Well, that is one way to finish off a race here. And that was an absolutely wild finish. A whole lot of different things going on. We got your top 3. We're going to talk to them. We'll be back. So we are down here with Nate Anderson, the number 5, your 3rd place finisher tonight, and that is 2 podiums in a row. Is this the beginning of a trend we're going to see for the rest of the season?
We're trying. New wheel feels a lot better, and I feel I can concentrate a lot better. And I've been getting some tips from some people, so I feel like I've been getting a little bit better here and there.
So you mentioned the new wheel. I see you're rocking new colors. Was there a reason for the number change? Just looking for better fortunes, or just trying something out?
Uh, Johnny Sauter, the Sauter number in
Ah,
general.
good pick.
Our family's kind of close to them, so
Right
believe it
on.
or not. Yep.
So, speaking of close, this is your home track. Do you felt that that gave you an advantage this week?
Well, sort of, because being a fan there, I watched the line a lot, and I was able to put onto the track what I could kind of see as a fan, and I think it did help me in both turn 4 and in turn 2. So I think that helped me a little bit, yes.
Right on. Well, congratulations on your second podium in a row. We are going to go over to the man who
Thank you.
finished second. That is the number 32, Billy Wise. So, Billy, things got crazy towards the end, and you find yourself up front. Were you thinking, hey, I got a shot at this, or were you nervous?
We were just more nervous. All the restarts were crazy, a lot of fun, hard racing. Um, we just kind of got lucky. We didn't have anything for Dalton, so we were definitely just racing for second, and which was totally fine. We knew we had a little bit of speed, but we weren't. I didn't think we would be contending for top three anyway. So it was a good race.
Yeah, this track certainly provided a lot of action, a lot of cars very close together, and I feel like that's not quite been the norm this season with some of the bigger tracks. What was it like adjusting to this amount of traffic, kind of just cars being in your face the whole time?
It was fun. I'm a huge fan of the track. I haven't been here too many times, but this race, I just thought it was a blast. Um, we did have a hot setup. I gotta thank Jason. He shared his setup this week, and once we followed him and found a racing line, it was awesome. It's a cool track. You can get around the high side, low side. It's a lot of fun.
All right. I forgot to ask. Let me pull Nate back over here. Nate, did you have anybody you wanted to thank?
Yeah, I need to thank my wife for being really grateful with me for disconnecting her Wi-Fi so I could race.
That is very
Hell
kind of
yeah.
her. That is a keeper. And you got anybody you want to thank, Billy?
Yeah, just shout out to Jason and shout out to Glenn, owner of Simability, and for you and Johnny for doing the broadcasting.
Right on. Okay, so we're going to walk over here and find the number one, Dalton Williamson. This is a familiar spot for you, but not on this kind of track. Was it a big adjustment running a short track this week?
Not really. I prefer the shorter ovals, so I was kind of at home.
Right on. Was the traffic particularly thicker this week due to the size of the track?
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it was coming up quicker.
Yeah. Well, it certainly made for an exciting race, and I noticed some people pitting. I noticed that you didn't. Were you pretty confident you were going to make it on fuel with all those cautions?
Yeah, we were good. I still had like another 20, 30 laps left in the tank. I had it all the way full, so I knew long run I would be really good. So yeah, I was pretty good where I was.
Right on. You got anybody you want to thank?
Like always, these guys for letting me run. Premier Platinum Platinum RV Services, AccuForce, and the family. And other than that, I think that's it. And you for
All right.
broadcast.
Oh, no problem. All right, we will see you next week from Martinsville, I do believe. That's going to do it for us tonight. So for Johnny Berardi, this is Layla Wilson signing off.